Welcome you all to the CEO Talk Mumbai. This is an initiative by The Talk. The theme of today's session is Rising to the Challenge with Tech Advantage. My name is Muthu and I'm the founder of Crumbles, an organic cookies brand. CEO Talk is a platform to share ideas, insights to transform organizations to create a better and transparent forum for meaningful business relationships and partnerships. This event is brought to you by Tata Telebusiness Services. It is the country's leading enabler of connectivity and communication solutions for businesses. They offer services ranging from connectivity, collaboration, cloud IoT security, and marketing solutions. Tata Telebusiness Services offers largest portfolio of ICT services for businesses in India. I would like to start today's panel discussion by introducing the eminent panelists who have joined us today. Now, I know this is a virtual session, but let us all give a good round of applause as I introduce their names so that we have a good energy flowing inside the room. I'd like to start by introducing Mr. Rajesh Kathuria, Assistant Vice President, Information Technology, Shamaru Entertainment Limited. Welcome, sir. Mr. R.N. Mohanty, President, Pidilite Industries Limited. Welcome, sir. Mr. Rajiv Varyar, Regional Head, Vintage Systems Private Limited. Welcome, sir. Mr. Rajiv Kumar Singla, Head IT, Large Form IT Asia. Welcome, sir. Mr. Pankaj Chaudhary, Vice President, Marketing, Magma HDI General Insurance Company Limited. Welcome, sir. I'm pleased to introduce and recognize the presence of Ms. Janice Das, Regional Marketing Head, Mumbai, Tata Teleservices. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
I'd like to invite Janice for a brief opening remarks. Over to you, Janice.
Yeah, hi. Hi, good morning, everybody. And thank you, all the speakers, for taking time out from your busy schedule and sharing your thoughts. I'm sure all the participants who are logged in for this session, they will gain a lot from your experience and knowledge in your professional sphere of work. So I will just take some few minutes to introduce what is Tata Tele Business Services is all about and what is our focus and how do we want to collaborate with businesses to help them do big. So we all have experienced COVID-19 and we have seen that it has acted as a tipping point for digital transformation of the workplace. And this will speed up further as technology is now a vital pivot on which enterprises are totally dependent for their business continuity and growth. Digital agility, thus, is becoming a critical factor for the workforce to communicate and collaborate effectively, both internally and with customers. As a country's leading technology enabler, Tata Tele Business Services has been empowering enterprises with voice, data, and managed services to develop deep digital capabilities, build resilience, and enhance operational efficiency. Enterprises are moving fast on their digital curve and are embracing hybrid work culture that allows them to service their customers from anywhere and anytime. To meet this growing demand, we have strengthened our portfolio of services such as cloud-based communication solutions, collaboration solutions, IoT, data management, and cybersecurity solutions. We have recently launched an advanced cloud communication suite, which we have called Smart Flow, which combines an uninterrupted flow of business communication with intelligent call routing and monitoring. Not only this, but it also offers on-demand scalability, which allows businesses to adapt quickly to changing business conditions. SmartFlow also comes with enterprise-grade security and reliability because we know and we acknowledge and there is enough data and fact which shows that how security in today's life for business houses have become not only a must for the organization. So cyber attacks like phishing, ransomware, etc., we are all reading about it, we have heard that, and it has become far more pervasive and sophisticated, especially during the pandemic. To address this, Tata Tele Business Services has enhanced its cybersecurity portfolio to provide a world-class security platform to offer email security, web security, next-generation firewall, endpoint security, and multi-factor authentication. Therefore, enterprises now have access to a comprehensive smart perimeter security proposition that is robust, scalable, and can be rapidly deployed at an affordable cost. TTPS has further strengthened its suite of work from anywhere solutions to meet the demands of the hybrid workforce. Solutions like hosted IVR allow enterprises to quickly set up distributed call center and enable agents to work from home. Others like hosted PBX, audio and web conferencing solutions, international bridging services ensure connectivity and collaboration amongst teams spread geographically across the globe. TTBS is also a trusted provider of IoT services that are designed to facilitate real-time tracking for informed decision making. TTBS IoT portfolio comprises of asset management, fleet management tracking, school bus tracking, and workforce management. For the last 2 decades, our deeper customer engagements have helped us to develop solutions that would enable enterprises to compete and win in their respective business segments. We will continue to play the role of technology enabler by strengthening our portfolio of services, especially in the areas of connectivity, collaboration, SaaS, IaaS, IoT, and cloud, while simultaneously enhancing our network and sales reach capability to recover as much of the enterprise footprint as possible. And our endeavor has always been and will continue to enable businesses, SMEs, enable them to do big. Thank you.
Thank you, Janice, for that lovely set of introduction to Tata Telebusiness Services. It was quite informative as well. Thank you so much for setting the tone for today's session. All right, I hope the speakers are ready. So let's quickly jump into the panel discussion. And as I said before, let me just brush upon just a few seconds. That will be a full-length panel discussion. There are a few set of questions to be asked from my side, for which I would like to understand your perspective. As I said, the first 2 questions are going to be very generic. So I request the panelists to keep it very short for 90 seconds or something. Maybe we have a couple of more questions later so that you can take a little more time, maybe a couple of minutes extra. So the last 1 year has been a complete haywire for a lot of us. It has been a complete roller coaster ride. It has been very positive for a few people. It has been completely shattered, not only in the professional aspect, the entire aspect of life, personal, everything. Speaking about which, let's talk about the business aspect. How has pandemic affected your business and its impact on your revenues? I'd like to understand your perspective on this. I'd like to start with Mr. Pankaj. Yes, sir.
Thank you. As you rightly said, that this has been a roller coaster ride. It certainly came from nowhere, which none of us had anticipated in our business plans, be it business or IT or any other kind of infrastructure plans. So yes, but I must give it to the businesses who and the people and the resilience who actually stood, up to the challenge. And after the initial blip that all of us, witnessed, the business started coming back to normal, and currently it looks positive. And for us at least, thanks to our sales team and servicing team, we'll be ending the year in positive. So that's how it has been for us.
Thank you. All right. So that is a positive, positive input right from the start of the session. Thank you, Mr. Pankaj. Here's over to Mr. Rajesh.
Yeah, hi. So we opened some 500 offices. As far as I am concerned, because I had 500 remote users, as good as having 500 offices. That's how the impact was. We never had remote computing except for the IT staff, but now we had all people doing remote computing. The COVID definitely accelerated the digital transformation. Projects which were stuck up were certainly on the move at that point in time also. There was a lot of stress on health and hygiene of people around us. I represent the media in media, we have shop floor people who work on machines that can't be worked from remotely. So they went to offices that they delivered during the time of pandemic. And more importantly is we delivered entertainment for everybody, being an OTT player. I'm done.
All right. Seems like someone really had a good time during the pandemic. And I see Rajiv sir with beautiful smile all over. Yes, over to Rajiv sir. I would like to understand your perspective.
Yeah, it's a good question, Muthu. Pandemic, actually for me, it was like a tsunami without an intimation coming all the way. If you have the intimation, you can actually prepare for the tsunami. So it was a complete tsunami, and for the 1 or 2 months, now we couldn't understand what to do. So frankly speaking, all our plannings went for a toss. And because it was March before that, we actually purchased a lot of hardware for upgrading ourselves on the on-premise hardware. So now it's all in a problem. And also at the customer place, since Vittage was, now we actually help customer to set up their network, firewalls, data centers. And now physically there was no, it was all in a problem because of lockout. So luckily for me, I had one more division called ASPL where we are actually providing managed services and remote services, cybersecurity services. So like Janice told, cybersecurity is a huge business because of the remote solution. So that's how we have taken it.
All right. Thank you. I think your insight is, quite contrary to the smile that you have. But nevertheless, like we bounced back. So that is, I think it is more important. Is over to Rajiv Singla, sir.
Hi, good morning. I represent Cement, that is Lafarge Holcim is a French-Swiss group which manages ACC and Ambuja as a cement companies in India. So on the contrary, what Rajiv was saying, we had a positive year, even though we had a washout for the last almost 2 months, April and May, when there was a total lockdown. We ended up, even though sales were less, but we end up at profits because ACC and Ambuja, we are Jan to December financial years. Today only the results have come for Ambuja. Ambuja and ACC both have done positively. So basically the pandemic has actually impacted in the way that we have changed the way we do a business. We being a traditional company, we need to have people in the factories, in the manufacturing. Only the IT people would have an access to a laptop or a desktop. But the people who are on the ground, the sales people, they were totally only dependent on the phone calls to have a connection with the dealers, because our business is basically a relationship business. So they were able to maintain relationship only through the phones. They were not going to the market. They were not allowed to go to the market. The factories were stopped for 2.5 months. But yes, after that, once that were like they started opening up the systems, there we were able to bring back some of the quantities, even though we have lost in terms of sales. But yes, our realizations in terms of collecting payments and all, that is improved, thereby resulting in improved EBITDAs and profits. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I think it is being a very positive note that the first question. Most of us have definitely had a very good time during the pandemic. All of them almost. It has been a very profitable pandemic, I suppose. Now at this juncture, I think although the answer is very evident, I would like to hear from you once again, very briefly. How do you foresee the closing of the financial year? So this financial year is about to get closed. So how do you foresee? Is it going to be on a positive note or a negative note? Let's keep our answer short. I'll start with Rajiv Warrior, sir. Yes, Rajiv, sir.
Yeah, so as I told you, thank you, Muthu. It's again one more great question. It's actually boosted me up to say that even if the tsunami had hit us, the pandemic has came, we lost a lot of hardware business, but we managed to get into the managed service business and the professional services because people also shifted from capex to opex, and our solutions over there like a VAPT and IT audit actually pulled us out. And also we actually ventured into the international market. So we got customers in Nepal, UAE, and lot of which we never thought of expanding in that direction. Because of the pandemic, we had started a profile, international profile, and now we have partners, 26 partners across the world. And that's why maybe the turnover wise we are down, But on the bottom line or on the GP part, we are on the upper side as per the calculations that we are taking at.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you, Rajesh, sir. Over to Pankaj, sir.
Yeah, so the future looks positive, and we'll end up the year in, on a positive note.
Okay. You've been very positive, Pankaj, sir. That really sets the tone for today's meeting. Yes, Rajesh, sir.
So when I look back on the tumult of this 2020, and with a healthy perspective, especially on the IT team's accomplishment during the COVID, the kind of workplace upheaval and with the reverence of what lies ahead, it gives me even more perspective of what we must do to meet our clients' demand. It allows us to accelerate our investments in technology, but the year ahead poses more questions than answers. And this has set us up for what I believe will be even more challenging for 2021 as the bars have raised. Because now, there is a desire for data, there's an access desire, there's an improved experiences we're talking about. What we have been seeing over the past 5 years is getting accelerated. So based on that, it's a move.
Thank you, sir. Rajiv Singla, sir.
I've already told that because ACC and Ambuja already closed their books, that is at December. So we are in black, that is we have made profits. But again, there's a different shift in the way we do business. Like what Rajesh was saying, there is always a demand now for going more digital, more automation, because now they've seen that it is possible to work without having people on the ground. You need to have different methods. How do we connect? Because again, it is basically only the connect with the customer or with your internal customer who are in the factories. If you're able to connect with them there, I think what it is rightly been said, that what was not happening in the last 4 or 5 years, it is not getting accelerated. Probably 2021 would be a more challenging year for the IT industry, wherein because people now have got tasted sort of a blood that yes, digital can do wonders for us. It's definitely going to be a challenging process.
Absolutely, you're definitely true. IT is definitely going to play, a very huge role, and of course, with Tata Telebusiness Services offering beautiful solutions with regards to communication, I think everything is to be at the ease. So yes, at this junction, maybe I would like to try something very interesting with the panelists. So one of the phenomenon during the lockdown that became very prevalent is the culture of remote working or work from home. Right? So there is now a huge question amongst a lot of corporates if this is going to be the future, or the companies are going to continue this work from home forever, or there are a lot of questions prevailing. At this juncture, I would like to understand from you panelists, what is going to be the future, or how is it going to be for your business? Is it going to be the contemporary office setup, or is it going to be work from home, or is it going to be hybrid? But for a change, I'm not going to ask you to answer. Let's play something with the actions this time. So if you think that the office setup is going to work for your business, just give me a thumbs up with your left hand. Or if it is going to be work from home, give me a thumbs up on your right hand. Or if it's going to be hybrid setup, just give me a numbers thing. So what is it going to be? Okay. Yet again, it's like a full house. Everyone is very comfortable, or I think the entire world is moving towards the hybrid model. And very happy to see that all the panelists are again on the same same flow. All right, moving further. So one aspect of all the entrepreneurs, one thing that we are all trained upon is to look forward for what next. Right? So yes, pandemic did come. It is hard. It was a tsunami for a lot of us. It was a jackpot for a lot of us. But it went on. Right? So at this juncture during the pandemic, what was one technology adoption you made to ensure business continuity? Right? I'd like to start with Pankaj, sir.
So thank you. So I would categorize the technology adoption in 3 aspects: connectivity, collaboration, and productivity. So of course, one was that a lot of teams which were office based were allowed to connect remotely. So connectivity was one, and that too with adequate security in place, because we are a financial company, so that plays a very, very important role. Second was collaboration and productivity, and third is productivity. Taking the productivity first, so a lot of tools that we have not been using, which were available with us in form of various suites, say Microsoft suites and all. So there were special trainings that everybody felt the need, and people started using a lot of technology assistance, for example, in terms of planning and all of that stuff. Collaboration again, so again, technology tools, basic tools that we had never, we had just purchased or saw or we just had it in our closets. We started experimenting and started collaborating a lot. So these are the three areas that I would we started on the digital adoption.
It is neatly articulated. Thank you, Pankaj. So over to Rajiv Warrier, sir.
So, like Pankaj rightly told, all the inputs that he have given, I think most of the companies have started adapting it or have already adapted it. For me, actually, apart from that, is something like that. It was a company where we were focused on on-premise setup, and suddenly you have 300 employees working remotely. So it's actually opening 300 offices in different locations. So business continuity, like Janice was saying, business continuity not only at the office but at the residence or at the remote users was also very important for us. And I think we actually went for a Tata connection in most of the locations. Thank you for the connectivity. Apart from that, some of the applications or some of the clouds, since we are a ISO 27001 company, we had great policies made in, but it was all on-premise policies. So we had to actually redefine the policies and then shift some of the applications to the cloud. So this is one technology that we adapted. We were never in the cloud, but we actually shifted to the cloud.
All right. Yes, as Rajiv sir rightly mentioned, cloud has now become like an elixir, no? Without which the remote working is definitely not possible to survive. That's a wonderful input, Rajiv sir. Just over to Rajesh sir. Can I hear from you?
So the base is the hybrid model. For the hybrid model to work, a combination of technology, the core technology which encompassed, penetrated, polarized was collaboration tool. The collaboration tool made sure that people are available and they are contributing and participating in the production. So collaboration was of essence, and everything around it, ability of network, because that is what a network is all about. We are a content service provider, so our content is already in the cloud, but the content needs to be managed and needs to reach people like you who are our customers, and we to keep entertaining you. So it's a complete cycle, but collaboration was the key technology being used along with all its features. This collaboration no longer is restricted only to just video conferences. Things are going beyond that.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Rajesh. I think OTT had played a very huge role during this pandemic. There has been an entire shift in the people. Like it can be a paradigm shift in the people's mindset. They no longer go towards the theaters or malls, even though if it is open, they're all very much attracted to the OTT. Thank you, Rajesh. Yes, finally, I would like to hear from Rajiv Singla, sir.
Yes, I think rightly the panelists have already said that there was definitely a shift, even though we continue to remain on-premise, not on cloud. But yes, some technology which we were not using, we started using it. First thing is the Zoom, of course, was a major shift. Like our global CEO was addressing across that 78 countries, sitting in Zurich for more than 10,000 users on Zoom. Whereas people had doubts about their IT securities, what he clearly told that I had a talk with the CEO of Zoom to separate these things so that we are now shifted everything to Zoom. That is the first thing. Second, a lot of predictive analysis have come in. Like wherein we were not doing that, there are a lot of startups which have started contacting us, wherein we do a lot of predictive we have started. Then one more thing, we have almost 10,000 contract workers coming in, which were earlier on touch. They were shifted to face recognition. There's a major shift in the technology from touch to face recognition. To have that, to be ready within 2 months, even though we know that after probably 1 year they become obsolete or may not be required. Because it is expensive technology. It probably may be thought that okay, we may sunset it, but again that was a need. Then something of use of drones. is coming in a big way in the factories, which was not there. It was evaluated, but never experimented. In this pandemic, we were able to experiment with drones for our perimeter surveillance or mine surveillance or taking stock measurements. All those things definitely has helped. The technology that probably what in previous was a traditional technology, this is a new emerging technology which is now coming into play and started impacting and influencing the people to experiment with those.
You're absolutely right, Rajesh. So as he said, there were technologies into prevalence forever, but this pandemic forced us to explore a lot of things which we hadn't been explored before. That was indeed a good, input from him. So speaking about the adoption of technology and all that, for normal people, like after pandemic, we term this word called new normal. That's how the jargon is. But for we as an entrepreneur who are into the adoption of technology and slowly moving into the digital world, we would rather like to call it as the digital normal. Right? So that is how we are all progressing towards. So at this juncture, I'd like to understand from the panelists, what were some of the biggest challenges you had faced during the adoption of a digital normal? I'd like to start with Rajesh this time.
So the biggest challenge for us, we are concerned, is we're a 50-year-old company who was into transformation. We did not have users who are used to working remotely. Even though we enabled them with the devices and stuff like that, remote working itself was the biggest challenge for them because they never worked remotely. Second thing is the internet lines, the consumer internet lines suck. They continue to suck as on today also, and they don't really perform. So people were forced to work on dongles and drip feed bandwidths, which is always the problem in the country. So that is one of the biggest challenges as far as we're concerned. Then, of course, there are those typical aging hardware, software, refresh cycles, which were missed out, and they all came back haunting like a ghost.
Thank you. Like, I think I can perfectly relate to what Rajesh sir had rightly said, because technology had never been my friend. When it is an important session or something, that is when all the, it gets struck or the screen freezes during the very important times. I can feel that, Rajesh sir. Yes, over to Pankaj sir.
So I'll say two things. One, the biggest challenges has been, in terms of bringing people to adopt to the idea. So, whatever, so especially whenever it is, leading to, whenever you take a technology where a lot of end users are supposed to use it, making them, acclimatize to that idea mentally is one of the biggest challenges. Second is, of course, so we are we don't have any product per se. We sell insurance, but still the problem of consumer not actually fully adopting to digital purchase is my second challenge. So that is not because of pandemic. I'm saying the idea of digital purchase has come. E-commerce has already proven that, but still in insurance it lacks manifold. So consumers are still not buying end to end. These are the two challenges that I think.
Yes, thank you, Pankaj sir. He was absolutely right. Also, all these digital aspects do come in. Especially we as Indians, we always believe in that face-to-face communication, face-to-face business, which definitely is a challenge in the upcoming days to come. Thank you, sir. Is over to Rajiv Warrior, sir.
So for me, the panel has already highlighted most of the things, but for me, actually, there is for me and my customers, CapEx is something which we were actually working with a lot of projects and everything for our internal requirement as well as for the customers. So the CapEx that they have invested in the last 1 year or 2 years, which has ROI has to come in, is a challenge for them because they have worked on that on an on-premise model, and now suddenly they have to go to cloud or hybrid. So CapEx is something which we have to find out the ROI, how to take it. Second is security, like Janice has highlighted a lot of security features in the services, managed services. So we have a lot of vendors in security, like the DLP or EDR or whatever it is. So we have to keep on adding from different vendors. That's the challenge. We have to keep on learning. And the compliance part, because everybody has made policies as per the previous network and previous in IT infra. Now with the new IT infra hybrid comes in, the policies has to be changed. the VAPT and the other compliance has to be achieved, which is a challenge, what I feel.
Definitely, sir. As he said, cyber security is definitely, its threat has been to a higher scope like never before, and hopefully we get through it. Yes, Rajiv Singla, sir.
Yeah, I think we had talked about IT, but I would also talk about the people. Like we have a shared services wherein about 700 to 1,000 people are managing. They were all desktop users. To give them a device to work from home was a challenge. So then we had to probably depend upon their personal devices, bring them on Amazon workspaces, spend money to get them connected. And other thing, what office gives them a AC environment, a subsidized food, a flexibility of work. Whereas when the people are working from home, they're probably living in a PG accommodation, one or two people sharing. The connectivity is bad, power is bad. Even in Bombay, I've seen people say that boss, मेरे घर में power नहीं है. So those they were probably eager to come back to office rather than working from home. For them to keep them home and get the efficiency from them, that is a major challenge.
Right.
Good.
Power, as he said, power has definitely been.
Here you got AC, subsidized food, everything. Whereas they don't have AC, they're staying in a shared accommodation. They don't have power, and the connectivity is an issue. So there are a lot of distracting factors for them to not to give us the 100%.
Yes, sir. You're absolutely right. So, being very comfortable in the office space, now people are wanting to go back to the office. And yes, sir, you're right. So, yes, moving forward, so as I said earlier, whatever the problem that comes against us, we as an entrepreneurs, you always look for the solutions. So that's how we've been trained up. And at this juncture, I'd like to understand what kind of enterprise solutions you feel can enhance your productivity. For this, I would like to start with Pankaj at this time.
So, so I don't have a very large canvas of idea in terms of resource. This enterprise tools. However, with my limited understanding, I think resource monitoring tools, which can actually so all whatever said and done, we all are humans and we tend to go astray. So if resource monitoring tools, right from human resource to how the other assets are being used and spent, so those could be one of the great assets for any organization.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Over to Rajiv Warrior, sir.
So over here, like Rajiv has already highlighted on some of the issues that the team is facing, so desktop and everything. So related to that, in technology is VDA something which we are looking at. So virtual desktop access or connectivity. Again, he has highlighted on that. Connectivity is something which is very important. And the security part, because the connection to our data or to our IT infra is being done from multiple locations. So there are a lot of scopes, hop which is there, and there is always a chance of hacking and everything, which is a concern, and which is the technology. If like Tata, like a group of Tata, where they are offering multiple solutions in one platform, it can be a good solution.
As you said, connectivity definitely has to, connectivity is definitely a good solution that has to be pondered on. Is Rajiv Singla, sir?
I think I corroborate with what Rajiv says. Connectivity would be an issue. Like we have factories which are in remote. There, even if we want to upgrade our bandwidth, there is no bandwidth available. How do we upgrade? Even though we have a factory, we have got 300, 400 people. There, you would need at least what? We don't get more than 10 Mbps speed because there is no bandwidth available in those areas. There are multiple ISPs, but they don't have the bandwidths. So even though we are ready to buy, but there is nothing to offer for them. So that is going to be a challenge where, of course, if it's something on VDI would definitely be a good way. But then again, connectivity will become a challenge. So, but
Okay.
yes, VDI definitely is probably going to be one new norm, or also the mobility will become like a mobile phone. Suppose most of our applications probably will have to be mobile driven so that people can work from anywhere and give them a same experience what probably a desktop or laptop can give.
Okay. So it's all about connectivity. Overall, I would like. I mean, when the panelists are speaking about one thing that is very prevalent is the fact of being connected, doing the remote working. Yes, over to Rajesh, sir.
So it's very simple. As I mentioned earlier, your net worth is based on your network. The need of the hour for all enterprises is they need to be given clean, uniform, secure internet to corporate users to make things happen. That is the baseline. Second important thing, the pandemic is not over. It is still going to be going on for some time. I don't know how long. I pray, hope it doesn't continue very long. But please try to understand the health and hygiene needs to be monitored, needs to be accounted for. I already believe some popular companies like Tata's already have put in place a solution for themselves wherein they are doing their health monitoring. These kind of solutions need to be extended down to corporate users on a subscription basis, so that the headache of taking recordings and managing and maintaining and alerting the health issues with the employee when he comes to work is done more efficiently. It's very difficult, and the clear demarcation has to be there. It has to be done by XYZ department. It can't be with the IT. More importantly, if the hybrid model also needs to continue, then most of the collaboration tools have very premature or very ill-conceived concept of how to do remote service, provide remote service, or take remote service through their product. And again, we'll end up taking another service and managing that. These are few of the things that come to my mind. And I'm sure there are many more depending on the environment and depending upon the line function that enterprises are, trying to perform, offering their products and services in various sectors.
All right. Thank you. It's just that we're all ready to, adopt the services, but we're just waiting for that right connectivity to come in. But Rajesh sir, I don't think so. Neither me nor Rajiv Varia sir is ready for another COVID. We definitely want another tsunami to come. This itself is, a huge haywire for us. Speaking of which, a lot of strategies has been implemented by all the CEOs and the entrepreneurs to overcome the pandemic. Now, at this juncture, I'd like to understand from you panelists, what was that one thing that worked very well for your business that you would like to share with the others? Yes, I'd like to start with Rajiv Varia this time.
So, very good question, Muthu. So, it's actually a thinker, and as I had informed that we have all the processes, ITIL based process and everything. So, with the help of which we actually have started promoting our managed services and SOC as a service, NOC as a service. We have a 100-seater in Bangalore, and we so basically over here you have enterprise as well as SMB and SME also. So basically SMB and SME is also a very big industry. They help India a lot, and we are there to service the SMB and SME more because now they require enterprise grade services. Like these SOC as a service and things. So this is what we started promoting it, and as I also informed, we opened doors to UAE and African markets and international market where these services could be sold at premium than in India also. So that's how we actually have implemented our solution in just 6 to 8 months.
That was indeed a very smart strategy, Rajiv sir. Is over to Pankaj sir.
So one of the biggest pluses that we can attribute to COVID-19 is the awareness about health and health insurance. So no amount of I'm saying, or a huge amount of advertisement would have done the same, whatever it has achieved for us. Another thing, at least that has worked very well for us is that almost a majority of our partners have started issuing policies online. So while customers are yet to buy, but so a lot of physical operations has moved to online. So that is second. Third, what I see is that a lot of self improvement exercises have been undertaken by employees. So I see people had time. So I see all my colleagues whom we speak to on a daily basis are investing in developing their knowledge, their understanding, and that has been a very, very big plus that this COVID-19 has brought.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Pankaj sir. Over to Rajiv Singla sir.
I think what Pankaj told is very right. People have had time to enhance their skills. They have, like our HR was promoting this thing. We were probably driving certain thing wherein people were encouraged to learn more, share with your peer, and get rewarded. Like we have started that reward recognition only for learning. You learn something, teach to your colleagues, and then you get rewarded. That is one thing. And other thing, what we have seen is that now in this after pandemic, the business has started trusting the IT. IT was earlier just an enabler. Now it is becoming a partner for them. That they think that yes, there is something which IT can help to. What we was earlier being as a problem solver. Give me a problem, I'll give you a solution. Whereas now it is becoming a partner to them. And now they're thinking, yes, IT also can help us improve our profits, our business, and our sales. That is a major shift which has happened, at least in this year, what we have understood.
Okay. Thank you, Rajiv sir. I like to, take a small point of what Rajiv sir and Pankaj sir definitely had said. I think just like how Ratan Tataji said, this pandemic, just focus on survival. Let's do business later on. So just like that, I think all the entrepreneurs took a step back and equipped themselves very well. I saw learning coming from all part of the age groups, right from kids or adults or even the most senior people who are the CEOs or entrepreneurs. They are still learning for better equipment. That's well said, Rajiv sir. Yes, finally, I would like to hear from Rajesh sir on this perspective.
So the one-line summary is definitely of a gift which is given to us of time and trust. Having said that, I experienced the employers have realized that they can trust their employees. I felt flexible work policies have been accelerated. There's been increased autonomy. We are more outcome driven. People largely have a great sense of purpose and control. They realize that this is, as far as I'm concerned, this is my 5th recession in my life. So people realize that there's a sense of doing something. Otherwise, it will be a very bad scenario. So everybody has taken ownership and done their bit of contribution. Resilience will continue to serve as we navigate this ongoing change. And we continue to adopt a curious mindsets in order to succeed in this new environment. And according to me, this is not the new normal, it is the next normal. Because now please understand that already we have passed one phase and the next normal is having this combination of hybrid, the vaccination, deciding how people are going to work, how many kind of people will work where, how will they come back. All that is happening in the next normal. And then the part of where we lacked in terms of BCP, DR, where we only provisioned for something, but now it has to take into account like how things are going to work. No longer it can be working in silos. So there's a complete change, no doubt about it. And the time and trust, again, is an important factor. The people are using it for their personal and professional requirements. I think that summarizes it.
Thank you, Rajesh sir. I think moving on, I think I'd like to understand a little bit of your personal side from the panelists. Yet again, sticking towards the business, what do you watch or read on a daily basis to get the business updates? So that will be the question. I'd like to start with Rajiv Warriors at this time.
So again, a very good question. So basically in this pandemic time, any data that you get, it's actually a valuable data from wherever it is coming. For me, I have been attending a lot of webinars and trainings from various brands, from various coaches, reading books from Dr. Radhakrishna of Chanakya PM and a lot of books also. But for me, actually, the young minds are more important because at this age, reading and getting the data better than that is actually talk to young minds. And in my company also, there are young people who actually is in the pre-sales, in the support. So they talk a lot and I actually try to grab as much as possible at this age. Apart from that, what I have learned is I'm basically a 42-kilometer runner. So it's a marathon which we are running. So pandemic is not a 100 meters run; it's a 42 meters run. You are there running for the finish line, and there are people to help you out from all directions. Some people bring salt, some people bring water, and whatever it is. you would just keep on running, and I am sure now we will actually achieve that target. We'll cross the finish line, and it's a long run. It's not a short run. So get your energy back and keep running, and I am sure you will reach the right spot.
Thank you, Rajesh sir. I think I'm starting to, liking your anecdotes. First it was tsunami and now it is marathon. I think it has been well put once again. Over to Pankaj sir. What do you read and watch every day to get business updates?
Yeah, so a lot of so there's no specific areas, but a lot of newsletters which are marketing centric, or like Medium or ET, or some blogs from Hootsuite and stuff like that. I also do, and it might sound a little pedestrian, but I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube. As a matter of fact, I don't have a television at home, so we only have our handheld devices. So I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube. Another is some books, some ebooks that I listen to, and some podcasts that I listen to. So these are the areas where I consume the content.
Thank you, sir. So ebooks, as it has been for the fast-paced people. The ebooks are a crisp grist of the book. Yes, thank you, sir. Over to Rajesh, sir.
Professionally, it's all about entertainment. Personally, also definitely entertainment, and also there is a definite need to consume technology-related information. We have to tell stories in our life, all of us. So if we read, we can tell those stories in whatever work profile we do. It could come from anywhere. And definitely light reading is also needed, because we can't be reading technical all the time. So we have to do a different reading, whatever a person likes. In my case, I could even land up reading comics or novels. Doesn't matter. Anything that makes my mind happy and spaced out and different from what it has been doing. Keep the interest alive.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you. Over to Rajiv Singla, sir.
I think what during this period, we probably attended so many webinars, so much of a variety of technologies, subjects we could see, which probably were new to us. We even attended courses on AI ML done by IIT Kanpur or something of that sort. So basically, there were a lot of things to offer. But again, I missed my newspaper for 3 months. It's a physical newspaper. I used to get, somebody was sharing his PDF copy, but that was, again, you cannot, I was still missing my newspaper. I really want to have a newspaper in the morning. It really helps me. And OTT probably has helped to connect with my wife, because she doesn't watch much of TV. So OTT was definitely helping us. We will talk, the discussion with our relative also would be that, what are you watching? And what we should watch on Netflix or Prime or wherever. And also it gave us time to connect with our families. I got families which are in Canada or US or somewhere in part of India. We used to have a family reunion on Zoom. You could talk for 2 hours, which if you talk up like earlier, we will not do that. My wife and his sisters have got a WhatsApp group. They do a lot of talking and that. So basically, it has given us time to work. A lot of personal thing has happened, and yeah, we miss our sports and everything. But again, whatever was on the OTT or on the television, we had consumed, reading, writing, everything.
Okay. I think we should thank Rajesh, sir, for saving a lot of families, including mine. Even it was a very big challenge to pacify my mother with the nice content on the OTT. But as Rajiv sir again said, we all thought that we would be free on the pandemic. But on the contrary, I think we were all so busy on the pandemic than during normal days. We've been attending a lot of webinars online, a lot of courses. This quarantine had turned out to be doubly, busy for all of us, just like all the panelists said. And on that note, I would like to close the session on a rather more light question this time. Who do you consider as your inspiration, or any leader or an entrepreneur maybe whom you consider as your inspiration or influencer? Okay, I'd like to start with Rajiv Warrior, sir.
So as I told you, young minds are my influencer. Like now, you can read a lot of big people are there, like Ratan Tata is there. A lot of people are there. But for me, influencing was the young minds. even if it is coming from my children. No, because like you buy a phone worth 30,000 rupees, but and you just use it for dialing somebody. But the children or the young minds actually give you a lot of ROI on that phone, which the value of that product increases. No? So that is where I am very happy interacting with these people. And second thing is the marathon, as I told you, it's a huge craze for me, and I keep fit because health and wellness is a success for beating the pandemic. So then that is what I actually influence. Every run, I get some ideas to get influence.
Thank you, Rajesh, sir. Wishing you fitness both in health and your business as well. And also, I'm a young mind, sir, so that probably we can connect sometime as well.
Sure.
Over to Pankaj, sir.
So a lot of influencers, as I said, so currently we get a lot of stimulus from all around. But to name a few, Simon Sinek and Jordan Peterson, I end up listening to them a lot. Similarly, in terms of business, there are so many young entrepreneurs, and even the established ones like Tata himself. So you keep getting inspired. And there are inspiration around, right from our seniors, whom I see working, even at a higher age, more than what we do. So so that's how I keep getting influenced and inspired.
Wonderful, sir. Yes, Rajiv Singla, sir.
I think nobody in personal, but yes, there are a lot of people around us who influence us. Could be our children, our family, politicians. Like, but what at least when we discuss in our home, we thought that, and we could praise that during pandemic there was never a shortage of milk, a ration, of vegetables. That is a commendable, because normally what you have seen in this type of things, these are the things which actually then skyrocket, the prices go up because there's no availability. So we were just seeing that, see the system, how it has been made that there were never a shortage of these things. They were available, abundant. The societies are making their thing to get this thing to your doorstep. They were able to do those things. They were the real influences for us, which helped us in tide over what is we are going through, and probably will continue to do for some more time.
Okay. Thank you, Rajiv, sir. Over to Rajesh, sir.
So it's always the maker, because these times you realize there's something that the maker is existing. And these creations are in various forms and various places. Currently, I am getting influenced by Kim Scott, and she has a book called Radical Candor. Besides, there are many more people, different points in time in life, including our bosses and some of the people close by. Inspiration is sought for many and various times and various places. It depends upon how much we can digest it and how much we like it also.
Okay. Thank you, Rajesh, sir. I think it has been a wonderful discussion for the last 50 minutes or so. It has been completely on a very positive note, and I thoroughly enjoyed being here. At this juncture, I'd like to invite Janice for a brief closing remark. Over to you, Janice.
Thank you, Pankaj. Thank you, Rajiv Singla. Thank you, Rajiv Warrior and Rajesh Kathuria. It was a wonderful session. At least personally, I have gained great insights as to what your organizations, your kind of industry, how you all have gone through. It's a learning, and I hope that all the participants who have logged in, they also had a good time. Thank you once again so much to take time for us and share your experiences. Thank you.
Thank you, Janice. And yes, finally, I would also like to thank all the panelists on behalf of the talk for joining us today, sharing a lot of wonderful insights regarding the strategies, how you came over. I think it has been a very wonderful and productive discussion. Thank you so much, all the panelists, for joining with us today. I hope and I wish all success for you and your business in the upcoming days. Until next time, for yet another interesting episode of the CEO Talk, this has been Muthu signing off. Thank you.